Good morning, everybody. So this morning I want to talk about time and scheduling things and how to look at your day and structure your day. First, let's talk about the different areas of effort, the things that we do, and how can we categorize those particular things. And I like how Stephen Covey kind of looked at this, but everybody really looks at it the same way. They just use different words for how they look at it. But essentially, they put life into four quadrants. Excuse me, we got allergies going on with the change in the seasons. So they put life into four quadrants and say everything that you do falls into one of these four quadrants. And the first quadrant is urgent but not important. So this is things that are usually kind of a crisis, kind of a response, but it's not a crisis. It really doesn't have anything to do with anything. So this is gossiping. This is a lot of social media. This is drama. People who put drama in their lives in order to have something to focus on. So it demands your attention right away. And at the end of the day, it doesn't bring you any closer to your goals or doesn't make you any more of the person that you want to be. So let me do that again. It demands your attention, but it doesn't bring you closer to your goals or doesn't make you any more of the person that you want to be. That's section number one. That's urgent and not important. And the problem is a lot of us spend a lot of our time there. Things come in and, now right now is a great time to really look at this because we've got all kinds of time right now. So as the world starts opening up, which is happening, things are going to start coming at us and things are going to be pretty uncertain as to how this is all going to happen, and we're going to have to do things differently. I have to wear a mask now when I go to work and when I go into my building. I've got a meeting today because we're going to start doing Zoom arguments in court. People are thinking about, well, how are you going to do a jury trial? We're probably going to do Zoom voir dire where we ask jurors questions before they come in. I mean, there's a lot of changes that are going to happen. So as the world starts to open up, this area of your life, this quadrant number one, there's going to start to be a lot of demands there. So it's something good to pay attention to because that's not where you want to spend your life. Quadrant number two is urgent but important. So that means this does move you further towards your goals or make you more of the person that you want to be, but you need to do it right now. It's something that needs to happen right now. Now, hopefully, it's something that you scheduled to happen right then. But either way, the thing about it is it has to happen immediately. So, time to go to work, time to exercise, time to spend time with your kid. So it's happening right now, but it does move you towards your goals. So quadrant number two is a place where when you are doing activities, you want it to be in quadrant number two as much as possible. That it does move, it moves the ball. Everything that you're doing, we're trying to move the ball forward in the areas of our life that we're trying to focus on. Either our goals or becoming more of who we are. Quadrant number three is it's important but not urgent. So quadrant number two was important but urgent, has to happen now, but it's a good thing. Quadrant three is important but not urgent. This is where Covey talked about, he called it sharpening the saw, that a carpenter had to spend time sharpening their tools. Otherwise, when they went to do what they wanted to do, it didn't work. So quadrant number three is where you're planning your budgets, writing out your goals, exercising, meditation, reading, planning, working on your relationship, going to a personal help seminar, watching a personal help seminar, Obviously, my dog is hearing something. Listening to tapes, okay? This is the area where you're planning and developing your life. You want to spend as much of your time as possible in quadrant number 3, and then when you're active, you're in quadrant number 2. So if you should spend time scheduling exercise in quadrant number 3, and when you're doing the exercise, you're in quadrant number 2. You want to spend as much time in both of those areas as possible. Now, you're not going to spend all your time because life happens. But the more you can spend in those times, the more that you're moving the ball in all of your goals. And quadrant number 4 is it's not urgent and it's not important. So it doesn't have to happen right now, and it doesn't move you closer to your goals. So quadrant number 4 is procrastination. So what's in quadrant number 4? Going out drinking, watching television that's junk television. I mean, not watching, Discovery Channel or BBC or History on America or something like that. Watching nonsense. Watching the news too much. You get the headlines, you get the basics. You don't need it anymore. We don't need to hear any more of that crap. So Facebook, when you're not, obviously Facebook can be in quadrant number 2 and 3, but it also can be quadrant number 4. A lot of social media. You can get news from Facebook. You can get news from Twitter. I mean, you can get good information from social media for sure, but obviously if you're sitting on social media all the time, then you're spending time in quadrant number 4. So what happens when life gets busy is we end up spending too much time in quadrant number 1, dealing with nothing but crisis, putting out fires all day, and then we retreat to quadrant number 4. So we spend all day running around like chickens with their heads cut off. None of it moved us closer to our goals. None of it was scheduled. None of it was our idea. We were at the effect, not the cause. And so at the end of the day, we're exhausted. So what do? We retreat by doing what? Going out to a bar and drinking, spending time on social media, spending time watching television, too much time watching television. So instead of being in quadrant number 1 and quadrant number 4, where you go from crisis to retreat, you want as much as possible to be in quadrant number 3 and quadrant number 2. Quadrant number 3 is where you're planning, figuring out those things that you need to do in order to come closer to your goals and achieve your goals. And quadrant number 2 is when you're actually doing those things. That's where you want to be. How do you do that? Schedule. You do that by scheduling. Stephen Covey called it putting first things first. You schedule what you want, and then the rest can fall in the other time. And, this is where you be a little bit selfish. So you got to take care. One thing we got to remember is we have to take care of ourselves in order to be able to take care of other people. And we forget that, especially as parents, sometimes as spouses. If we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't do a great job taking care of everybody else. If you're using sugar and caffeine and nicotine and whatever in order to keep yourself going, all you're doing is burning yourself out, and at the end of the day, you're not doing it well enough. If you're getting through your life by taking antidepressants, and again, I'm not attacking that, but maybe are you doing anything to try to help deal with that? Are you in counseling? Are you in therapy? Have you gone to a life coach? Are you looking at your biological makeup of your body? Are you testing your hormones? Are you testing your thyroid? Are you testing your adrenal gland? Or are you just taking a pill because you don't have time because you need to do all of these things? So I would encourage you to, as the world starts to open up that planner, no matter what it is, and schedule those things that put you towards your goals first. Look at your roles, look at your goals, And then each week write down, these are the things that I'm going to do in order to move myself closer to that stuff and push the other stuff away. One of the things about time that is really interesting is now we've had a lot of it. We've got a chance to experience what it's like to have a lot of time. This virus has had people home and actually bored, ready to go do stuff. And that's a great opportunity to know what it feels like to control your day. Because otherwise, a lot of times we let our day control us. And how many times have you said, and how many times have you heard people say, I don't have enough time. I would do that if I only had the time. Well, here's the thing. That's the one thing that everybody has the same amount of. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, the President of the United States, everybody that we always talk about all day long as being people that do amazing stuff, they've got the same number of hours in the day as you and I. Everybody's got the same amount of time. Everything else in the world isn't a level playing field. Money, opportunity, intelligence, location, all of that stuff matters. But time is the same for everyone. So what I do is if I ever catch myself saying, I don't have enough time, my response to that is, that's a lie. There needs to be more me. It's not that I don't have enough time. It needs that I need to give more of myself. And what that means is I need to push myself into section 3 so that I'm scheduling this stuff to be in section 2 as much as possible. And that's simply a matter of focus. Focusing on where you want to go, focusing on your outcomes, and scheduling time in order to move yourself closer to that. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's hump day, so we have to do it. Mike. Have a great day.